Today, I actually want to lead a different sort of guidance where I would like to help you see the mind, notice the mind, watch the mind objectively, the things that it says. What that means is that you are able to look at it. The difference being, usually throughout your day, when you are thinking, you are you're going about this process subjectively, meaning you become the mind. The mind becomes the subject looking at the world and talking about the world. And like 90%, or if not all of it, of our suffering is in this fault, in this sleepiness of ours to start going into the mind subjectively, to give it that stamp of myself, of what I am. So even notice right now, the mind may be talking about what I'm saying. There's a noticing of this. You have the capacity to look at this. You are the watcher of it. You are not the very talking itself. One of the most powerful practices throughout the day is learning to observe how this voice or these thoughts are always just talking. There's never a moment where this voice is not describing something or offering commentary, judging, looking to the past, looking to the future. And it becomes very subjective. We become the talking. It really feels like I am the one talking. I am the one thinking. So, one of the most powerful practices throughout the day is again and again seeing that the mind and the talking is not the subject. It is actually the object being looked at, being noticed. The subject being you, the witness of the mind. And notice that right now. You do not have to do anything for the mind to start offering judgments or for the mind to start talking. You'll notice that it will arise again and again automatically. Just notice right now that you are the witness of the mind, not the mind itself. It becomes very apparent and clear in a moment of silence, because in a moment of silence, in a moment of not doing anything, the voice, the thoughts, the chatter becomes very clearly known, seen. the fact that it is always talking becomes noticeable. And it's literally talking to itself. It's on the it's what is offering the talking, and it's also what is receiving the talking. All you're doing right now is you're just noticing this. You're not trying to fight it. You're not trying to resist it. You're not trying to change it. You're not trying to suppress the talking. You're just again and again noticing that again and again this talking is arising. This repetitive noticing of the mind talking and this repetitive noticing of the fact that you don't have to go into it and believe in it and buy into it and care about it, this is your way out. This is the avenue of a real inner transformation and awakening. The voice right now says one thing, and the same voice, the same mind, later says another thing. If you observe the chatter throughout the day, you actually start taking inventory of what the thoughts are saying. You'll start noticing how often this chatter is contradicting itself. The very thing it believes so strongly in this moment, it negates in another moment. Sometimes it's even fighting itself. Right now, you're just witnessing this. You don't even have to do anything about the dysfunction. The mere witnessing of this is the transformative factor. If you see a person out on the street and they're talking out loud to themselves, saying something and then responding to what they're saying, right? They're just talking to themselves. You call that person crazy. But are you not doing the same? You may be doing it silently, but are you not doing the same? And it's not a matter of if my mind something says something positive, that's me. And if it says something negative, that's not me. No. Anything that the mind says, it is not you. And then it says, but then how to function in the world? That concern also is not you. For these moments that we're together, set it down. Notice how that when that moment arises, it again becomes you. You take on that subjectivity again. The mind's capacity to pull you in as the subject thinking is the problem. is what we call mind identification. This is what creates friction in your life, and this is what pulls you into suffering. So, for these moments, be open to the possibility that nothing that is arising in the mind, no talking, no interpreting, no judging, no projecting, no past, no story, nothing that is arising in the mind is you. Be the plain witness to it that sees the mind as an object, as a thing. And you may notice the mind struggling against this. You may notice it struggling against its very own self. You want to stop the talking. You want to stop the constant thinking. Something's getting frustrated, but the thoughts keep happening and I can't stop. I can't see this clearly. You are also just the plain witness of even this voice, of even this being frustrated. It is also just an appearance that is the object, not the subject. Notice this and just rest as the witness. See how this voice, this talking, it cannot stand silence. More there is that gap, that the silence where nothing is being done, nothing is needing to be done, the more restless it grows. Just witness this. Just notice that and see that that which is noticing this is not itself restless. It becomes restless in silence because if it doesn't, then you might just wake up to the fact that you are not that. It seeks to cover up the silence with constant noise so that you just remain blinded by the noise. It is the noise that you suffer. But underneath the noise, there is absolutely clear, silent, still witnessing that you are. This voice tries to figure out life. It tries to make you feel safer. It tries to predict life. But all these are illusions. It only gives a false sense of safety, security. And it is these illusions that we suffer. We don't suffer reality. We don't suffer life. This voice also always thinks that the problem is outside and that the solution to the problem also lies in moving something around, changing something outside. But have you noticed, however much you move around outside, problems don't stop? Life still seems problematic, no matter how much you gain or change. So when you take this talking, this chatter, to be the subject, to be you, it will keep you in a constant, restless pursuit to change things outside of you. And it will make you believe that the solution to all of your problems, that the source of your happiness is actually outside. Not only will it waste all of your energy in that restless pursuit, but it will continue to keep you suffering reality now. It will keep you blinded in this sense of feeling that the problem is outside and that the solution is beyond your control, also outside. Notice again, perhaps you've again drifted off into thinking and being the thinking as the subject. The moment you notice this, thinking becomes the object. It actually vanishes. And then there may be a moment of noticing nothing. You, the witness of the thinking, also witness the absence of thinking. The thinking comes and goes, you remain. If throughout the day you start to notice this again and again, and you start to look at the thinking and the chatter as an object rather than being the thinking as the subject, this whole illusion will start to break away, fall away. Your tendency to suffer the present moment will start to fall away. Your perception that the problem outside of me is so real, and your perception that the solution to this problem is outside will start to fall away. Your very perception of looking at your current situation as a problem will fall away. Your tendency to fear and worry about the future will fall away. Your indecisiveness, confusion, lack of clarity will fall away. Your need to constantly judge, manipulate, interpret, describe your experience will fall away. Your belief systems, which limit your experience of life, will fall away. And the biggest of them all, your identification with the body, your identification with the mind, your identification with the story of the body, the past of the body will fall away. Will you take that simple invitation to again and again, repeatedly notice that the chatter is not you, that the chatter is not the subject, but rather the object, and that most of what it says can be let go of, disengaged from, that you don't need it to live life, that you don't need it to secure your existence, that you don't need it to achieve your goals, that you don't need it to figure out the future. If you do take the invitation, you will experience clarity, confidence, faith, trust, decisiveness, happiness, peace, connectedness, freedom, relief. You will become vulnerable to awakening. Right now, we're too closed off because we live inside of the systems that this voice has webbed around us. Can't fight the web. You'll just get more and more entangled and stuck. Freedom is here right now, moment by moment, in this little noticing of yourself as the subject, as the witness, rather than falling into the illusion of the mind being the subject, the illusion of the body being the subject. This witnessing presence is never not here. It is what is seeing, what is looking. The mind is not the one looking. It is what is being looked at also. If you want to get to know what you are at a deeper level, at a more essential level, you have to stop pretending to be and taking yourself to be what you are not. When the mind is taken to be the subject, you are in that moment playing pretend. When the body is taken to be the subject, you are in that moment playing pretend. So that is why this repeated noticing that the mind is the object, is being looked at. It's so necessary. It will slowly melt this web more and more. And it is simpler than simpler. The only time you may feel like it is complicated is again when the mind has become the subject and it has brought you into some other illusion. And so in that moment, all it requires is for you to once again acknowledge that you, the witness, is not, are not subject to that projection, that complexity. Just remain as the witness. The mind may even think it's a passive thing to do, or a silly thing to do, or a useless thing to do, but this is the transforming agent. You must trust that. Can't get there with mind. And of course, anything the mind feels is like valid and legit is not, because the mind always wants to continue this momentum. It wants to keep you in that restlessness so that this remains hidden from you. So see that you're being guided home, but you have to surrender to that rather than your ideas of what you think is effective and whatnot. Because those are all just mental descriptions and stuff, you know, based on your experience and what we have been taught. But the moment we start taking this invitation, very soon it becomes clear through your own experience that yes, this is the way. And there is this intuition within you guiding you So trust that. You're here for a reason, listening to this for a reason. Give yourself to it. You will not be disappointed. It is this constant surrender of the mind to yourself which helps you become free. Okay, so that's what I would like you to practice as you go about your day, and make this your daily practice. Like, this has to be seen again and again. Of course, do your work, do your things that you have to do during the day, but notice that many moments of the day, most of the day, you're filtering your experience through this chatter, through this talking. And you need to again and again just snap out of it. Notice that the mind has become the subject. And the moment you notice that, you as the subject are looking at the mind as the object. And then it can't hold you. It can't make you suffer. It can't bring you back in. In that moment of awakeness, you are free. And let that thought, no matter how important it seems, perhaps, let's let it go. You will see that life still unfolds, perhaps even more harmoniously. You'll see that your constant attempts to figure out life or predict the future or protect your well-being of the future, it's all useless attempts. Life still goes on. Okay? So please practice this, obviously in the sit-down practice, but also throughout the day. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to dissolve mind identification, if you need help, and if you're really committed to this practice, I will help you. I urge you to learn more about my School of Awakening, where I personally work with you to help you dissolve mind identification and become free from suffering your thoughts, free from suffering your emotions, and become established in awareness, as awareness, in your inner peace, happiness. So if this is something that you're serious about, something that you're really wanting to commit to, I will help you create a massive shift just within 60 days. If that sounds good to you, please learn more about my School of Awakening down below. Click the link, you can book a call with me, and we can talk about how I can be of help to you, and if this would be the right opportunity for you. Thank you again for watching this video. I will see you next time.